Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a second Q&A video because I have hit 1,000 subscribers, which is all thanks to you. So thank you so much for your support of this channel. It's been a really fun project and a fun new way to share and engage with y'all. So I just want to thank you so much for subscribing if you have already subscribed. And if not, I would really appreciate it if you would. Subscribers are everything to a growing YouTube channel, and I just want to thank you so much for your support. So let's just jump into the Q&A. I asked if anyone had questions on Facebook and on Instagram, and so I'm just going to go through. As always, like I said last time, if I mispronounce your name, I'm really sorry. I'm really not trying to. Actually, I'm really trying to pronounce it correctly, but it can be really challenging because I don't know y'all in real life most of the time, and so I'm just not sure exactly how you say it. So I'm going to do my best. So cute. Okay. Do you know you're so cute? I love him. Okay. On Facebook, I only got one question on Facebook this time, which is totally fine. I think I'm just going to start asking maybe just on Instagram and for future Q&As, because that just seems to be where people, like to respond. Anyway, on Facebook, Sar Van Acker asked, if you had to name the 5 things you would love to do in your life, visiting Disney can't be one of them, what would they be? Well, visiting Disney wouldn't be on that list anyway because I've been several times. This is a huge question, so I'm just not going to take it overly seriously because I could sit here for this could be a whole video for 30 minutes of just what I want to do with my life and what I dream about doing with my life. A couple of things. I really want to have a family, whether through biological children, through adopted children, or both. I've talked about that in my last Q&A that, it's not time for us to do that yet, but that's something that I have thought about and dreamt of for my whole life. So something, to grow our family and have children is something that I'm really looking forward to. So that's one thing. A second thing that might sound slightly materialistic, but it's really something I've always wanted to do is to build my own house, meaning pick out the floor plan, pick out the finishes, pick out what the front of it looks like. Home is so important to me as a person, and I love having people over into my home, and let me turn that off. I love being in a home. So I think it would be the coolest thing to be able to create a home exactly how I would want it to be. It's something Riley's always wanted to do too. So we always talk about maybe one day we'll do that. So that's one thing. And kind of paired with that, number 3 is I've always wanted to live on land. I have always had this dream of living on some acreage and having a home with a front porch that I could sit and watch the sunset, and that just sounds so amazing to me. I've always wanted that, which I'm in a good place of the country for that if we end up being here for longer than just the next couple of years, because there is so much land everywhere. We could definitely see ourselves buying some of it and building a house on it and raising a family there, which is kind of pulling all 3 of those together. So those are 3 things. A 4th thing that I have always wanted to do, and it's a really dreamy, big, outlandish one, is I would love to found and start and run and own a summer camp. I went to camp when I was growing up for about 10-ish consecutive summers, from when I was about 6 years old until I was 16. And it was so wonderful. And then I ended up going and working as a camp counselor, and that's where I met Riley. So camp has just always been really important to me. I think there's something that's really beautiful about getting out of your comfort zone and what you're, where you normally are, your normal environment, and being out in nature and being, I'm not a really campy person. I preferred the camps when I was growing up that were more like cabins rather than tents, but I just have always wanted to have my own camp. So I don't know, maybe someday. Sometimes I pray that door would open, but I don't know. That would be a huge undertaking. But I can just totally imagine directing a camp and I just think that would be so amazing and so fun. So that's kind of my fourth crazy thing that I would love to do. That one's a little bit more out there. And for number 5, I don't know. It's so hard. Like I said, this question is like such a huge question. It's a really good one, but it's definitely huge. I mean, I definitely would love to travel to so many different places. But I would, in particular, right now, I'm really obsessed over Hawaii, and I just would love to go visit Hawaii. So I'll say that's my number 5. All of those basically shift and morph and change every few months, like what my main things I want to do with my life are. But I have always wanted to have children, and I have for a long time wanted to build a house on land. So those 3 are pretty solid. The other 2, it kind of changes based on the seasons, but that's an awesome question. Thank you so much for asking it. Okay, on Instagram, Talea asked, have you read any encouraging or uplifting books recently, or are you reading one that you like right now? I'm looking for some suggestions. I have read some great books recently. I think I've already mentioned it on another video here on YouTube, and definitely have mentioned it on my blog, but I highly recommend the book The Red Tent. It was a suggestion from a reader, and I just adored it. I just thought it was a great book. It's a historical fiction book, so keep that in mind, but I really loved it. A couple of others that are nonfiction that I've loved. The Circle Maker by, I think that's by Mark Batterson. That's a great book about praying, essentially praying circles around your biggest dreams, and kind of, you just read the book. It's really good. It's called The Circle Maker. Uninvited by Lisa TerKeurst is about processing rejection, about feeling alone, about feeling left out. That's a phenomenal book. It's really, really good, and I highly recommend it. For the Love by Jen Hatmaker is a really good one that had me belly laughing, that I read earlier this year, or maybe late last year. And it's just kind of, I think the subtitle to it is Fighting for Grace in a World of Impossible Standards. So that's a really good one as well. All 3 of those are actually pretty quick reads. They're not real long and lengthy. There's a book called The Life-Giving Home by Sally Clarkson that I read recently that was really good, just about creating a home environment that is life-giving, that is a place of rest, that's peaceful, that kind of displays your family's culture and your family values and things like that. It's just really interesting. It has a lot of practical advice. It's really, really interesting. I loved that one. There are a few more that I could probably list off, but I feel like I've shared a lot. So those are a handful of some really great books that I've read recently that I've really enjoyed. If anyone's read a great book and would like to pass it on, I'd love to hear your suggestion. Another Instagram question comes from the Frizzy Lizzie, and it had 4 likes, so I guess there were a few people that wanted to hear my thoughts on this. And her question was, what advice would you give to someone trying to figure out what to do after graduating college? That is a great question, and I definitely have some thoughts on it. The advice that I would give someone who's graduating from college and trying to figure out what to do is to take one step forward. Meaning that I think a lot of times when you're graduating from college, it feels like you have to make the best perfect choice for the rest of your life, and you have to get into the best perfect career path in the perfect city with the perfect company and all of these things, and it just doesn't happen like that, and it's not true. And instead, take a step forward, whatever that looks like. So for me, when I graduated college, that meant applying to jobs all over the country, and the job that I got was in Austin, and so I took the step forward of moving to Austin and starting this job. It wasn't the best job at all. It was pretty boring, actually, and it definitely was not where I wanted to be long term. But taking that step forward allowed me to move out on my own, have my own apartment, live in Austin, which I loved, with lots of great friends. So I think one thing to keep in mind when you're graduating is that there's not only one path that's the only one path, you know? There are a lot of options. There's a lot of different ways ways to go. So instead of obsessing over that, pray about it and then take a step forward. Just move forward. I think it's really, really important to, be willing to kind of take a leap of faith, so to speak, once you are graduated from college, in order to get into the next phase of life and kind of find your footing there. Another piece of advice I would give someone graduating from college is that your degree does not define your calling. Your degree does not define your calling. So just because you have a degree in one field doesn't mean that you aren't going to be called to do work in another field. And that's okay. I have a business marketing degree, which I certainly use, but I am a work-at-home blogger, Etsy shop owner, blogger mentorship program runner. I'm doing all these other things. I'm not working in corporate marketing, what I thought I would be doing. One of my friends graduated with a degree in journalism, and now she works for a nonprofit. Another one of my friends graduated with a degree in teaching, and she ended up being an admissions counselor at our alma mater. Another one of my friends got a degree in communications, and she's working in family ministry. So there are actually, I can't really think of a single friend. I can't really think of anyone I know who graduated and is doing something exactly in their field based on their degree. You have to be open-minded and allow life to unfold and allow yourself to explore these new paths and new options. Don't just box yourself into, just because I got this degree, this is the only thing I want to do. I'm sure there are exceptions to that. I'm sure there are people who have always known what they want to do, and so to that I say go. But for the rest of us who are graduating from college feeling like I don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, that's totally fine. Just take a step forward and see what happens. Don't box yourself in, based on your degree or based on what you thought you would be doing. Apply for jobs, put yourself out there, put your best foot forward, and then based on what is available, take a step. Choose one of those things and just move forward, and you can adjust your sails along the way and figure out your way along the way. I think there's a huge amount of pressure on college seniors to pick the perfect exact thing, and I'm just here to tell you the perfect exact thing doesn't exist. You will very rarely find someone who still has the same job or is still in the same career path as they were when they graduated from college. Careers are journeys, life is a journey, so just basically take a step forward into that journey and see where it leads you. I know that's a little bit abstract, but there's no real hard advice except for to just enjoy your friends during your last weeks of school. Just enjoy it so much. Find a way to stay in touch. Plan a time to get together at the end of the summer to stay in touch. Whatever you need to do, those college friends are so precious, and make sure that you put in the work and effort to stay in touch with them long term. Another Instagram question comes from Jenna. I say that because there's a bunch of U's in it. Jenna 13. And she asks, what's the hardest part about working from home? There are a few hard things. It's hard to strike a work-life balance because environmentally there's no physical boundaries. So whereas when I used to work in a more traditional job, and so I would go into the office, it was easy to leave the office and leave work in the office. Whereas right now, my home is my office, and so that can be a little bit challenging. It's one of my favorite things about working from home because I am able to create my own schedule and all of that, but it's also one of the hardest things about working from home because you just end up sometimes end up working a lot more than I want to. So it can be tough. I need to do the laundry, I need to do the dishes, but I really need to package up Etsy orders and respond to my emails. And I have 3, Skype meetings with different mentees today. But I also need to go grocery shopping. And so it can be kind of hard to draw those lines. I've learned to be more self-disciplined and create a daily schedule and kind of figure out how I'm going to spend my days, because otherwise I'll end up in bed at night and I don't know what I did today. It's kind of, so that can be really hard. I would say time management, just because when I'm at home, I can get things done that need to be done around the house, but I also need to get things done, online and whatnot. So kind of striking that time management, work-life balance, probably the 2 hardest things about working from home. Another Instagram question comes from Allie E123. Oh, that's such a cute username. I love that. And she said, what's your favorite ride at Disney, and are you planning another Disney trip anytime soon? My favorite ride at Disney is Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom. It's a roller coaster, and it's so fun and thrilling. That's definitely my favorite ride. As far as if we're planning another Disney trip anytime soon, Yes, we are. We are planning to go at the end of this year, which should be amazing. So the only footnote on that trip is that I talked about that in my first Q&A video, is that we put aside money every month to travel. And so we had been, putting that money toward our Disney trip and paying it off. And in the middle of that, my little sister got engaged in April last month. And so obviously her engagement and wedding and activities all trump our Disney trip because we're just so excited for them that they're getting married. But she's getting married in Maryland, in my hometown where we grew up. And so that requires, a couple of trips back and forth. So airfare, I'm going up for the shower. And I'm actually hosting her bridal shower, so the expenses around hosting a bridal shower plus flying up there and back. And then Riley and I both need round trip tickets for the wedding. And I'm a bridesmaid, so I need a bridesmaid trip. Like, it's just all of those, anyone who has had a wedding or has been in a wedding knows that weddings are really, really, really pricey, and all the gifts that come along with everything. And they're so much fun, but they're definitely not cheap. So anyway, so we are probably 80 to 90% going to Disney at the end of this year. But there's just a slight chance that, because we are not the kind of people that go into debt. We are not the kind of people that spend money we don't have. So if we don't have it, we can't go. So we are trying to finagle our vacation fund to make it work for us so that we're able to do all of the festivities surrounding the wedding and also go on this trip. And it looks like we're going to be able to work it out just fine. But that is the footnote, that it's not 100%. It just is not 100% until we make sure that everything is, looking good with our finances, because it's really important to us to make sure that we're only spending money that we have and not money that we wish we had. So I'll keep you in the loop with that, but that's the plan, is to go to Disney at the end of this year and see it at Christmas, which I've never done. So yeah, I can't wait. Cannot wait. It's gonna be great. And I will film videos and talk about that, and I'll vlog the trip and everything. If this goes through and everything works out great, I will definitely keep you in the loop about it. Another question from Instagram is from Angsty Rachie, who I know. Hey, Rachel. And she asked, what are the best ways for a reader to support her favorite bloggers? Also, congrats on the subscriber milestone. Well, thanks, Rachel. The best way for a reader to support bloggers, that's a really great question and a really thoughtful question. Emotionally and just being supportive in terms of what a blogger is doing, I just really appreciate any interaction that I get to have with my readers, whether it's through snail mail, email, comments, anything like that, direct messages on Instagram even. Like, any time that I get to have a conversation with someone who reads my blog or watches these videos is so fun to me. Just last night I was taking a long walk with Charlie, and it was just Charlie and I. Riley was at home, and someone who watches these videos was DMing me on Instagram about an upcoming Disney trip she has and asking questions. And my whole walk, we were going back and forth, and I was basically just like texting with her. I love that. So that, like, emotionally, and just if you just want to like make a blogger's day, engage with her. If we're talking about, I don't know every blogger and what he or she would want, but for me, like, I just love getting to know the people who are watching and reading my content, because we end up usually having a lot in common. It's just really fun. So that is awesome. Financially, anytime that you go to a blog, or go to my blog, I'm just going to talk in terms of, my own site, because it's too hard to be vague and broad about this. On my site, I am an Amazon affiliate. So anytime you click through from my site and go purchase something on Amazon, I get a small percentage of that sale. The price of the item doesn't change for you, but Amazon is just rewarding me for basically broadcasting their items and kind of advertising them for them. So if you're going to place an order on Amazon and you want to support my site financially, and you click through any link on my site that's Amazon and then go and check out, even if I'm talking about a frying pan and I link to that, and you click through the frying pan link to Amazon, and then you don't purchase that frying pan, you purchase 5 other things, I will still get a small percentage of that sale because you clicked through my link to purchase. And that is just a really helpful way. It's not giant, huge money. It's not like I'm making tens of thousands of dollars, although some bloggers do. But it's just a really helpful and really easy way. It's really it doesn't change anything for you. It just takes an extra minute to come to my site and click through to Amazon. So that's a really nice way to support me or any other blogger that you love. If they have Amazon affiliate links or any other kind of affiliate link, it's just a really simple and easy way to kind of support them financially. So thanks for asking that question. It's a really good one, really, like I said, just so thoughtful. Okay. Another Instagram question is from Haley the Howl, and she asked, what have you found to be the healthiest way to deal with disappointment? And then she said, I love your YouTube channel. I love grabbing a cup of tea after a long day and watching one of your videos. That is so sweet, Haley, and I am the same way with the people that I watch on YouTube. I love grabbing a cup of tea at the end of the day and just watching their videos. It just helps me unwind so much. As far as the healthiest way to deal with disappointment, I process things heavily. I would say that I ruminate on things sometimes. Like, I just toss things over and over and marinate on them and think about them for way too long. And that tends to not be the best way to deal with disappointment, I've found. I found that voicing that I am disappointed to myself and others is the healthiest thing that I can do when I feel disappointed. When I try to convince myself that I'm not disappointed, but I do feel that way, it ends up becoming this unhealthy, weird world where I'm like faking myself out, and then like in the long run I have to go back and deal with these emotions of disappointment that I never dealt with because I've been like faking myself out for all this time. So I found that just admitting to myself, I feel disappointed in this moment, and it's okay to feel disappointed, and this doesn't feel good. And also being able to speak that aloud to someone I trust, usually my husband, but you know, maybe a family member or a friend, and just saying like, I'm feeling really disappointed about this, tends to be a really healthy thing in my life, just because it forces me to accept how I'm actually feeling and not glaze over it. And just being able to say, you know, I feel disappointed about that. I wish that had gone differently, or something like that. So that's kind of one thing that's really helped me. Also, along the same lines of just processing it, journaling has helped me move through disappointment. But the older I get and the more I go through disappointing things, the more I realize that every disappointment is usually a blessing in disguise. Like, every time I'm disappointed that something didn't go one way, things end up turning out better because they went another way. So that might be something to keep in mind too. I know that's kind of like a Pollyanna positive viewpoint, but that's really helped me, and it's something that's proven true time and time again as I've continued to go through life and, you know, walk down different paths. So thanks for your question, Haley. Another question from Instagram is, I should stop saying that. All of these questions are from Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying that. Another question is from Candy Combs, and she says, so I know you work from home. Do you get ready every day with hair, makeup, jewelry, and all that? Or do you stay in your pajamas all day? I work from home and would love to have your advice since you've done it much longer than me. I do get ready every day, but I don't get glamorous every day. So I usually will wear jeans or leggings or something like that, and like a tunic or like a t-shirt, maybe a zip-up hoodie, something like that. Every day I put on an outfit that I feel comfortable leaving the house in, because pretty much every day I end up leaving the house and popping over to the grocery store. I'm at the post office all the time, shipping Etsy stuff, checking my P.O. box, all of that. And I often am stopping by my husband's studio, his screen printing studio, to talk to him about what Etsy orders are coming up and whatnot. So I'm out of the house every day for a few different errands. And so because of that, I definitely don't stay in my pajamas all day. I also feel a lot better and I feel a lot more productive when I dress productively. That doesn't make sense. When I dress as if I'm going to do something. If I'm in my pajamas, then I'm in this zone of like, I'm laying on the couch, it's a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, and I'm not doing anything and I don't have anything to get done. But the reality is that during the week, I do have things to get done. Like, I have my house to keep in order and everything that goes along with that. And then I also have all of the different, you know, balls that I juggle in the working arena. And so it helps me a lot to put on something every morning. Light makeup, I'll usually just put on like foundation, mascara, and lipstick or lip gloss, something like that. When my hair is not done, I feel terrible about myself. That's probably like a whole other issue that is probably for another video of like self-confidence or something, but I can't stand the feeling of my hair not being like blown out and either straightened or curled. Every once in a while I'll go with it, just like let it curl naturally, but I can't stand the way it feels. I just feel like I want to take a shower and reset it. So, and I only do my hair, this is something to note, I only wash my hair about twice a week. So I take a shower all the time, but I only wash my hair about twice a week. And so that makes it a lot easier too, is that just 2 times a week I'm blowing it out and getting it ready. So the answer is yes, I do get ready every day, and I usually am wearing like earrings, I put on my rings, I usually put on a necklace or something like that, and even if my outfit's pretty casual, I do try to like pull myself together every single day. I don't think one single day since I've started working from home I've ever worn my pajamas all day, because it just makes me feel like I'm not going to get anything done, and so then I don't get anything done. So I would really recommend that. I actually wrote a blog post about this. I think it was like last year or maybe in 2015. It's been a little while now, and it was called something like why I get dressed every day even though I work from home or something like that. But I will put it up in a card, so if you want to read it, you can go click through and read it, and it's just kind of basically what I just said, but the fact that I feel a lot more productive when I get dressed. So yes, I do. Good luck working from home, Candy. It is a huge blessing and really cool, but also it can be really challenging at the same time. So I hope you're able to strike that balance. Maybe that would be a good video, like some tips about working from home and getting things done both around the house and in the working world. If that would be interesting to you, let me know. Okay, let's see. What other Instagram questions do I have? Another question came from Mackenzie Carhart, and she asked about book recommendations, which I already shared. So if you want some more, I can share some more. So just comment and let me know. But I already shared a handful of some of the recent books that I've really been enjoying. I'd like to get a few more fiction books. Maybe I'll go to the library in the next couple days and pick up a few fiction books, because I do like nonfiction, but in the summer I just feel so lighthearted, and I think I prefer fiction and just kind of getting lost in like another story. Let me see. Madeline, or Madeline, I think it's Madeline. I love the name Madeline. I love it so much. Madeline_Ruth on Instagram. Sorry, I promised I wasn't going to do that. Asked, what is your best advice for a newlywed? I have a lot of advice for newlyweds. I wish with all my heart I could go back and talk to myself on the day after my wedding and tell myself a few things to do differently. Because, you know, marriage is beautiful, but it's hard. It's hard to merge your life with someone that's completely different from you. Something I would say to a newlywed is know when you need to walk away from a conversation before it turns into a fight. So sometimes it's just worth saying, you know, I'm going to go take a walk, or I'm going to go take a long bath, and, you know, we'll chat when I get back. And it just diffuses the situation, and it allows both people to kind of think what they need to think and go through all of that. And then by the time they get back together, they're able, you know, to have a calm adult conversation. That's one thing. Another piece of advice I would give newlyweds is to get on the same page with your finances. I see so many couples who just like, they've been married for 10 years and they're still fighting about finances, and I just think that's so silly. Like, get on the same page about your finances. Like, Riley and I discuss our finances openly basically every day. We just talk about, okay, what money's coming in, what money's going out, what do we need to be saving for, what, you know, what do our different accounts look like? Like, we talk about it every day. It's really casual. We don't fight about money. It's just something that we have early on decided we're not going to make it this huge giant deal. We're just going to discuss it, and we openly discuss it. Like, I'm not afraid to say, like, I want to buy this thing, it's this amount of money, is that fine? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, it's not asking for permission, it's more just staying in touch and making sure that we're on the same page. So get on the same page with finances. And the last thing I would say is communicate all the time about everything. Over communicate just everything when you're first married, because it can be really hard. A lot of assumptions turn into fights. And so you assume someone's, your husband's gonna do something, or you assume your wife is gonna say something or whatever, and like that doesn't happen, and then that's disappointing, and then it turns into a fight. So instead of that, over communicate. So things like, I'm making dinner that will be ready at 6 p.m. Can you please be home at exactly 6 p.m. because that's when I'm making dinner. And just being very, very thorough in your communication, because Riley and I have learned very quickly that there were both of us were making assumptions to kind of fill in the gaps, but we weren't asking the other person. And so it never really worked out, because we would just assume the wrong thing. And then when you assume the wrong thing, you end up getting frustrated and disappointed and all these things. So it's just easier to just be like very, very thorough. So like, for example, one thing we do is like every Thursday, we talk about our weekend. So usually on Thursday afternoons, we will sit down and just say like, okay, what are your goals for this week, and what are the things you want to get done? Where do you want to go? Is there any, like that kind of thing. So sometimes Riley's like really wanting to do like a project around our house, whereas I was thinking that I wanted to go and go out to dinner to eat, because it's been like a stressful week and I just want to go chill. And so being able to like merge those two and figure out something that's going to work for both of us works really well. So over communicate. That would be my third piece of advice. Good luck. Good luck, all you newlyweds. I would say that Riley and I have probably just about outgrown the newlywed phase in a lot of ways. We're coming up just quickly here on our 2-year anniversary, and a lot of the roller coaster ride of that newlywed stage, where things are so amazing and also so hard, has leveled out for us. So I don't know when you're technically not a newlywed, but I feel like we're about to move past that, or kind of have moved past that in our relationship, in the way that it's kind of gone. Another question comes from Emily, and she asks, if you had to move somewhere else in the US, where would you choose? I don't know. I've given this a lot of thought. If you've been following my Rooted series, you probably know that I've definitely thought a lot about moving. I'll pop in a card with the Rooted series on there, because I've been filming a new video every month updating on how I've been, getting rooted in our small town. So we've thought about a lot of different places. Riley loves the mountains, so he talks about Colorado a lot, although I think I have shifted him over to be more of a beach lover, because recently he's been saying that he doesn't want to move to the mountains. But Colorado is beautiful, and so we've talked about Colorado. We've talked about moving to the East Coast, because that's where my family is, and I do like that in a lot of places on the East Coast you get 4 seasons, but some, in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, it's a little bit more of a mild winter. So there's that. I loved living in Austin and would be open to moving back to Austin. I'm pretty open-minded. If I had to have like a, like if I could choose one thing about where we would move next, it would be that it would be close to the beach. If you've been following me for a while, you probably know I like love the beach. I'm super obsessed. I just love it. It brings me so much joy and just like breath and peace. And so if we could live on the beach, near the beach, close to the beach, that would be great. Secondary to that, it would be nice to live somewhere where it is warm more of the time than it's cold, because I hate the cold. So it would be great if it was warm more of the time than it was cold. But I don't know. We talk about it a lot, about moving. We talk about it a lot, but I'm just not sure. Not sure where we will end up if we end up moving. Okay, another question from Erica. I think this might be the last one. Erica asks, what's one thing you have on your bucket list for this year that you would like to accomplish? We're going to Seattle for our anniversary for a trip, and I don't know that Seattle, I don't have a bucket list is I guess the problem of why I'm having such a hard time. I don't have a bucket list, but I've always wanted to go to Seattle, so I'm really excited to go there. So there's one thing that the rest of this year that I'm going to get to check off. That should be you know, really, really awesome. So it looks like I have answered all the questions that were asked. Thank you so much if you submitted a question. It's always a funny thing when you ask, when you're gonna do a Q&A, because you're like, all right, are people gonna send in questions or not? So when you do, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will probably do another Q&A maybe when I get to 2,000 followers. Give it a little bit more time. But if you have any questions about anything I said today, or if you just want to share your answer to any of the questions that were asked, I would love to hear from you. You can comment below, you can comment on my blog. I'm all over social media with the username Blair Blogs, and I would love to chat with you on any of those platforms. Hope y'all are having an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!